Tshwala Bam, the track by South African producers Yuppe and TitoM, with vocals from SNE and EQ, has been one of the revelations of African music in 2024. Now, it gets a remix with Burna Boy, the man who has applied his golden touch to songs like Yaba Buluku and Sungba and more in the past, elevating popular tracks to capture a global audience. And as he said when he delivered his verse on the remix of Lil Durk and J. Cole's All My Life,
if you put me on the remix, I go first.
Burna's verse does indeed come first on the remix, opening the Zulu delivered track in English. Burna Boy is known for his outlandish, larger-than-life personality and the superiority he exudes about his art and music. He brings this undiminishing confidence to Tshwala Bam remix. He says, employing the colloquialism that Ira Star first invented for her 2023 release, sability. By using that word in the sentence, he's saying that his sability or his virtuoso or talent is what keeps surprising people. After this, he continues with some other graceful remarks, proclaiming himself to be the
greatest of all time,
before reiterating that
no one that name them go call mine.
He also says, which speaks to a not so nice side to Burna Boy that we have seen in the past. He then goes on to sing in the same chorus, which roughly translates as, from Monday to Wednesday we are outside as long as we are in Nigeria. A statement that reflects Burna Boy's extroversion and his propensity to prefer being outside, spending time with friends rather than indoor activities. The lines themselves were first heard from Pokoli, who used them on an Instagram story back in April. Pokoli, like Burna Boy, is famed for his perpetual presence in the Lagos night scene. Afterward, Burna continues on his usual path of self-adulation, saying, later he praises himself for his sexual prowess. Burna Boy sees himself as a sex symbol and believes that many women want to be his lover. Then he expresses in lines that, have you ever seen a nigga like mine? Each and every lady wanna give me He goes further to say, King Solomon, comparing himself to the biblical monarch of ancient Israel, who is famed for his profligacy as much as his wisdom, and who at one point was said to have 700 wives and 300 concubines. Burna Boy ends his verse by digging into another pocket that he's very familiar with, speaking to his detractors. Burna recognizes that for one reason or another, some people are not fans of his music or himself, but he doesn't rate those opinions highly. He says, you don't like me, meaning, if you don't like me, that is your business. He chooses to close out his verse in a mildly inflammatory fashion, saying, which means that no matter how much it hurts his naysayers to see him progress, he remains superior to them. After Burna Boy's verse, the rest of the song follows the path of the original. However, there are a few changes. One is that the remix is only about 3.5 minutes long, roughly half of the original. Another is that EQ, one of the original featured acts, was removed to reduce the song's length. Otherwise, the track progresses as before, with SNE's verse coming next. Wetshwala Bami translates as my alcohol or my liquor, and the song documents the struggles a man has with overcoming an addiction to alcohol. When SNE says on the chorus, he is confessing the harmful effects of alcohol in his life, like separation from his family and depletion of his finances. The chorus ends with, which translates as, you've made a fool of me, my liquor. His verse, however, gives a different perspective to his view of alcohol. Here, he describes how it makes himself the life of the party. He sings, referring to how, when he arrives at a place, they all go crazy for him, even his enemies. He then goes on to say, which means they weren't believers until he gave them his alcohol. He also goes on to sing about how he intends to drink non-stop with his friends. The verse gives a backstory to the original theme of alcohol addiction, and it explains why so many people have troubles giving up alcohol for good, because it makes them so socially acceptable. Tshwala Bam is already one of the most popular and widely accepted African songs this year, as it peaked at number 3 on the UK Afrobeats chart and number 6 in the US Afrobeats charts, and reached the top 10 in Nigeria and South African charts. Despite being famous for the millions of dance videos it has inspired on TikTok and the like, Tshwala Bam's greatest strength is still the depth of his subject. Burna Boy's verse does not align with the song's original theme, but this remix arrives just in time to give it the shot in the arm it needs to make a global push. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Afrobeats Decoded, where we deconstruct some of your most popular Nigerian songs today. Don't forget to share this video and keep watching Culture Custodian.